All right, what's going on? Kevin here. Welcome to our podcast, In the Flow. We are, I think, 3 or 4 podcasts in. I'll hit that later there for me. And so, yeah, new beginnings. We're glad to be here. And the goal is to create a space so that I can share my, kind of my thoughts about my business, my art. I want a place where I can, learn really, because a lot of times we want to perfect before we act, and then we end up stagnant because you can't reach perfection. And so this space is for me just to say, I'm moving forward, and I want to, I want to get better and take action. And one of the things that I need the most in my social media and business is just some content, just some really straightforward content to share ideas, start building a place where we can communicate some of these things for the intention of creating value, and then taking that value and figuring out how it can better help or support you or someone else. As an artist, I make, I think it's very normal to think that we have more value than we utilize. We can create more value than we use. For instance, if you're a farmer, you can grow more crops than you can eat. And so the idea is that you grow for other people to eat. And so, what's up, Bongo? Welcome in. You caught us on our early podcasts. Also changed the latency, so maybe maybe it'll be easier to chat if we need to. But anyways, it's good to have you in. But yeah, what I was wanting to do is take this space here and figure out how I can take my value, multiply it to help others. Because I make artwork, we all do things, we all make things, and most people, they'll go get a job because there's a company or there's a business owner that understands business and entrepreneurial things, and he needs labor. And so he'll go find someone who'll say, hey, I can get X amount of labor out of you. I will pay you this percentage. And that's all it is. No employer pays the employee 100% of their value, because then they're not making money. And so what happens is that's where you get business. That's where business comes from. And so my problem is that I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur. I am an artist, and all I have is my skills and my pottery, and I know that I can create, like I've got all these pieces here, and I've got all this clay, and I know that I can create more value than I need. And so, but what I don't know how to do is to sell art. I don't know how to sell art. I'm new to that. And so my goal is to try to take this space, to bounce around ideas, get some content out so that I can start using that to mix into my other things. So yeah, new podcast. I think we're 3 or 4 in, but that's the idea here. So, you got any ideas for me, Vongo? Let me know if I say this right. What was your name? Is it Gautam? Gautam? Is that saying it right? Gautam? Gautam? Gowtham? Are you at work today? Are you working on a Monday? That's not true. It's not true. I would say that I've spent the majority of my life or career developing a skill, not much different than a craftsman, right? So a craftsman is just someone that learns a skill. An artist is someone that has a mission attached to the skill. So they go, I have a skill, but it serves a greater purpose, either for teaching or for, exploration. But an entrepreneur, or someone that runs a business, they have a job they have a business that has many skills, right? They have a business that needs, financial assistance, marketing, advertising, storage. You have the actual work, the labor, the analytics. So you got to do everything. But for me, it's like I've been doing artwork my whole life, developing my skills. And it's only the last, 4 or 5 years that I've been going, oh, I need to learn how to actually sell my work. And then the problem is that I have no idea what that entails. And so I've been learning and growing and trying to understand it. And I feel like I've come a long way. I've built my website. I learned how to do photography, graphic design, putting ads together. I've learned how lighting and cameras work, how to, go on social media. And so to get into the sales and marketing, that's what I'm doing now. And so I make content, nobody shows up. I put my pieces out there, nobody responds. Everybody can buy a great piece of artwork. There's artwork everywhere. And so the idea is that what is it that makes people buy something, right? It's either out of a necessity, like they need that thing. It's a consumable or a tool, or something like that, or they need. I'm losing my focus. They either need the item. Well, I guess it would be a need no matter what, because it's either a physical need, consumable, or a tool or something, or it's going to fill some sort of soulful purpose where it's either entertainment, or some sort of pleasure thing. So one thing that's weird. I'm gonna just stick with one. I'm gonna call it Gautham. Gautham. All right. So, I was gonna say, the one thing that's really weird for me, or I've never done before, is try to talk through ideas and look at a chat screen. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being here, because this is really great experience to be able to talk through an idea and read things. I guess I see people online when they are live, they do it. They like talk to the camera and then they look at the feed. Anyways, it's really good because everything you do is a skill. It's an experience, skills through experience, and then you grow. And my father taught me, my father taught me, he's like, learn as much as you can. Do as many jobs as you can. When you get into a job, when you learn that job to where you have everything it takes to do that job, then either look to be going up or to going out. Because, I don't want to say there's no point in sitting in life doing the same thing, but we always have the ability to grow and expand and to learn something new. And so I find that even if you get into a job or a position where you're like, this is me, I love this fits me and everything, then I think there is always still room to make things better. So anyways, for my art studio, what makes someone, it's not what makes someone buy, but why do people buy things? And it has to fill them. It has to fit them. And so I think that where I'm going with is, I've got my website up, nobody came. I put my work out there for cheap, nobody bought. I started advertising, and then things start taking place, but still not on a level that draws any sort of well, I don't want to call it success, because I don't want success to be based on sales. But in terms of that, the business chain, the sales chain, like at least things started moving. But yeah, as an entrepreneur, that's what you do, is you have to look at every step in the chain and say, what can be better, what can be built up. And for me, I have to learn the business first. I have to understand it first, and then try to make changes. And I have to do the change. Like, I have to learn the change and then do the change. And so I feel like this would be a really great, place for me where I'm at. And that's why I started this podcast, to create a place where I can just be honest, because I can have good work, I can have a good service, I can have beautiful ads, but so does everyone else. So what's going to set us apart from anyone else? Being who we are, being ourselves. And so I think that if I can bring people in to let people know that, what do I need with my artwork? What do I need with it? It just sits on a shelf here. The artwork needs to go out into the world, and it needs to go to people who don't need a piece of artwork or another piece of artwork. It's people that have money that they don't know what to do with. And then what they want to do is invest into others' lives. And so if I can find people that have money and they don't know what to do with it, and if I can create a mission that takes the value that I build and then finds a way to share that value back into the world, then I would really just be connecting people. I would find people that need assistance, and I would find people that have the ability to offer assistance or financial support. And then we connect those together through artwork, which is creating beauty in the world, rather than many other options. So I think that's a good start. I think it's a good start to say, we create more value than we need. The entrepreneur, he hires people to help him. The entrepreneur hires people and helps them utilize their value. So he says, I'll raise your value level, and then I will take that extra value and I will put it into my business. And then you have to look at the mission of the business to decide, are they just greedy and pulling money to themselves? Like a lot of companies and business owners would do. Or is the company also have a mission where they're taking their money and how much of it, or how much of that value, and putting it back into the world? And so for me, being an entrepreneur, being a self-employed artist, entrepreneur, then I have to figure out how to raise the value of my business by finding out who I can help with my value. So I need a mission. I need a mission statement. And I feel like I'm just coming up on one right now, which is the mission would be to build. Oh no, I forgot it. I don't have it written down either. But anyways, I believe that because my struggle in being here today came from overcoming the trauma of peer pressure. And so I had to learn how to overcome my own identity in order to turn this camera on and to learn how to speak. And it's been really difficult. And so it's been a struggle to be here for that reason. And then therefore my artwork also shares this message of identity, being that each piece is unique and individually created. And so I feel like my mission would be to build hope, or to share hope for others who struggle with identity and personality issues or something, like that you are beautiful and that you are who you need to be today. And you're not your best person, you're not your best state, but every day you can become better just by desiring it and then moving toward it, and then we can go down that road. So let's see, instead of directly communicating to customers, try an indirect way. Well, I felt like that's what art was, right? Like, the idea is that, artwork, like this artwork, it shares a message. There's a message behind it. Because the artist has intent. The artist makes something because they see the world a specific way or something. And so this is, this has a message. But the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that tell me, they're like, well, I don't need a little cup. They're like, I don't need a little cup. And I just want to say, well, this isn't a little cup. This isn't a little cup. This is a piece of artwork. This is an expression of who I am. What if someone painted a little painting, right? Would you just say like, well, I don't need a little painting? It's because we don't question that paintings are purely expressions of the soul of the artist. And I don't know why they can't afford potters the same thing. They just want to look at the piece of pottery and say, well, I don't need a little cup. And it goes, well, this isn't a cup. Like, this is a unique individual expression and and being that I, the potter, handcrafted each and every one of these and carried them through this process, looking at every detail, scrutinizing and making sure that it had everything it needs to complete the journey through the trial by fire, and then to be cleaned up and polished and sent out into the world. That is my connection to my creator, right? Like we were created, and each one of us is in a journey of becoming, who we are. And so to me, I go, the art itself is the indirect message. But the thing is people don't see it. Like how many artists die and they don't share their message, and then the whole world is sitting there trying to analyze it and assume what the artist is trying to portray, right? Like, wouldn't it have been great had Leonardo da Vinci just said why he painted the Mona Lisa? Nobody would be arguing. Was it her expression, or was it technique and the blending of styles? If he'd have just said it, he would have been like, he could have said anything. And so for some reason, the artist, can't rely on the world to just understand why. But then the artists, most of the time, don't have the ability to express why, which is why they're artists. They say, I don't know how to say what I don't know how to use words. If I knew how to use words to express myself, I would have been a writer. So anyway, I don't know. I feel like I've tried the indirect way, but I think it needs to be said. It needs to be said. And maybe that's why artists have artist statements. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them, but I feel like I need this, whether I sell out of a shop or not. I have sold out of shops before, but they were just selling cups. They were just selling cups. And I felt like the value of the pieces could be so much higher if people understood the message. And so that's where I spent the last number of years trying to develop my website and start learning social media so that I could share, even facing my own fears, so that I could share the message behind the work in hopes that it raises value. And I feel like if I can do that, then I can put them in shops, or, I can only make how many a day, and there's, how many people out there. I feel like it's just a matter of doing this, sharing the value, sharing what it is, and then finding an outlet for my value that's real and tangible, like it goes into the world and then helps people. And then I think that people that have the resources will buy. And then you're buying an expression of beauty rather than seeing it as just an overpriced piece of pottery. So anyway, but I think we might close this up, Gautam, and probably have to actually do some other work. We've been making those flower bowls. Last week we made 2. We got 2. We threw 8 and we ended up with 2. And our goal is to make 36, I think. So today is flower bowl making day. And yeah, we need some good edits. Right now, it's just get it out there. I figured if I can do this, then everything else will fall into place. But anyways, we got our kiln unloaded, so I've got some work in there that can be cleaned up. But I don't know if I'll do that today. And then I need to. These are the flower bowls. You saw one get made. Let me ask you, are you watching on landscape or portrait? Yeah, you saw this one get made, yes, last week. Right now it's dry. Right now it's drying out. You can see the edge is a lighter color than the center, and the foot is because this is thicker, so it takes longer for this to dry, so the rim will dry quicker. Landscape. So we've studied, all the formats and trying to figure it out. We've got most of this really fine-tuned, and we had really good success early on, all the way up to a few weeks ago. And some of our streams had thousands of people coming in. And then we did something. I think it was once we started these podcasts and started talking. It's almost like the whole algorithm just dropped us, and now we get very few people in. So I feel like it's just one of those things that, you got to make that change early on, because you don't want to, I don't want the algorithm to build around something that I feel is not real. Like it was all kind of ASMR stuff, and I really wanted to be more present. So I feel like it's worth it, and we'll just keep going, and that's what we're here for. So anyways, this is our podcast. It's off the cuff. We have no idea what we're going to do in these places. I really appreciate you coming by and chatting. I figure are you still during work hours? Yeah, well, you saw those little my little shorts with the pottery that I've got on my channel. I've got those, and I like making them, and even those had a really good reach. But for some reason, they've dropped off to even, we're just getting, maybe a few hundred views. Yeah, and then we have a few on Instagram. But we don't know what we're doing. We're just, we're not afraid to try. We used to be afraid to try, and we're no longer afraid to try. So we're doing everything now. And we figure if we just keep it up, it'll stick. So, all right, Gautam, thanks for coming to hang with us. I know you got life and work and all that going on. We're gonna find out what we're gonna do this week, and we're gonna be back tomorrow to just keep talking about it and keep figuring out how to share these and get some more people on board with us. So we can do it. You can do it. That's right. You too, man. Anyway, take care. Have a good day, and we're gonna be throwing some more flower bowls this evening. So you get bored, you can come say hi. All right, man. Take care. Have a good one.